Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC, a weekly podcast and YouTube channel discussing everything Wrexham from the point of view of long-term fans and brand new fans like my wife. So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in.
So, hello everyone and welcome back to episode 4 of the podcast and YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's been a busy week as well.
Really busy week.
So, dive straight into the games, I suppose.
Yep.
Okay. So we had Chesterfield on Tuesday. We're not going to talk about this.
I was going to say, do we have to talk about that?
Yeah, well, we do though, don't we? Because it was poor. It was very poor. Just to throw a stat out there, straight off the bat, we had one shot all game. So 95 minutes of football, and we had one shot, and that shot wasn't even on target.
That shot was shocking.
Yeah. So we had one shot. So we didn't make the keeper make a save all game. It was awful. From listening to it, there were huge holes in midfield. Yep. Luke Young didn't play.
Devastated.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna, that's gonna be a thing because nothing came out about him being injured or anything like that. But the midfield seemed to struggle on Tuesday night when we were listening. It seemed massive holes.
He actually said, I think it was after the game on the Saturday.
Yeah. He
actually said that, he was excited. This isn't obviously word for word, but he said he was excited. The boys were excited to get going on the Saturday.
Yeah.
On the Tuesday, sorry. And then he didn't play.
So McFadzean and Howard had a bit of a nightmare. McFadzean got absolutely owned down his side, I think, from what we've seen and what we've heard.
Mm-hmm.
He came off sort of early second half and Mendy came on.
Yep.
Howard had a bit of a shocker. For the goal, I have spoken to a few people who were at the game and they did say he made some decent saves in the second half, but I think a lot of what people see...
He didn't save those 2 goals.
No, he didn't. I mean, their first one was decent. I don't think he had much chance with that. But the one where he tried to dribble out, that was a shocker.
Yeah.
You've said before you had a few reservations about him.
I was disappointed. I was listening to the game on Tuesday, and I was disappointed with how he
did nothing.
Yeah, how he didn't do anything.
I mean, I think he made a few decent saves in the second half, as I say.
Mm-hmm.
Dribbling it out where he was. He's gone one way. The attacker's gone, I know where you're going, and he's taking it off him.
Yeah.
It was poor. It's one of them really. And, we were playing our usual 3-5-2 formation or 5-3-2. One thing that did come up is obviously they played 4-4-2 against us. Now, just to get into tactics a little bit. So we set up the same.
Yeah.
Every game, home or away. Every team who plays us knows how we're going to play. They know exactly what we're going to do. Regardless of who's playing, they know how we're going to play.
They know the formation, yeah.
Yeah. Now, what Chesterfield did, they went, right, we're going to play 4-4-2. And then that's why McFadzean had an absolute nightmare. Because basically their fullbacks, not wing-backs, their fullbacks pushed on past their wide midfielders. And McFadzean was then left with a 2-on-1 constantly, and he was just getting burned for pace all the time. So I think that's a little bit of a problem for us moving forward. Everyone knows how we play. So there's no variation on that. We play the same way all the time. Teams with a decent manager will go, right, I know how I'm going to set up against this. And it just makes it a lot harder for us. I think it brings us on sort of quite well to... It's just rotation, isn't it? That's the name of the game now. Last season, we struggled towards the back end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people felt it was tiredness that had done that. We'd got to the end and players were just absolutely shattered. So we've started to rotate now. Now, you were fuming on Tuesday.
Oh, my God.
So Young went out. Ford went out. Mendy went out. And then they brought players in instead. Now, the midfield didn't really work, did it, without Luke Young there?
No.
I can still tell you're a bit angry now.
I am angry. I am really angry about it.
I think it's quite a strange one. If you're gonna rotate, okay, you're going to rotate and you're going to keep players fresh. I think it's a little bit strange rotating the captain, though.
Yeah.
Especially for such a big game like Chesterfield. Chesterfield are going to be there or thereabouts, and they're going to be up there. Big game. I thought it was a bit of a strange decision to rotate him out.
100%.
And because he wasn't injured, there was nothing wrong with him. It was just rotation. Now, to talk a little bit about rotation. Now, what do you see as like the benefits of rotating?
Well, like you said, at the end of the season they were getting tired. So the benefits are, yes, you can rest them up for the games.
Yeah.
But
downside,
it didn't work.
No, it didn't.
All right, rotate. That's fine. But the people that he rotated.
Yeah, I think the downside of rotation is I'm going to use a big. I think it's a big word. Cohesion. So your team that are playing week in, don't look at me like that. The team that are playing week in, week out, they get a feel for each other,
exactly.
And they know how he plays on his right. He knows how he plays. He knows the runs he makes in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
If you're rotating all the time, maybe you don't quite get that same gel in a team. Now, somebody who does rotation very well is Man City.
We're not Man City, though.
No, that is one of my points. We are not Man City. Now, Man City they played £100 million for Jack Grealish, right? Jack Grealish sometimes sits on the bench because he's been rotated out.
Yep.
They've got some top quality players that are happy sitting on the bench because they know it rotates around. Sometimes
you're in. They still get paid.
And they're still getting paid.
Yeah.
But like you very rightly said, we aren't Man City and we are in the National League.
Yep. Is
this going to work for us? Well, it didn't work on Tuesday. When we get into the swing of rotating a little bit more, maybe it might work.
Yeah.
But are you just going to be rotating the same players all the time? Are you taking, for example, Aaron Hayden out that team or Ben Tozer out that team?
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can either.
And Luke Young, you cannot take him out of the team.
But then you've got in the same situation where we missed Hayden massively last season at the end. Now, is it the amount of games that he played and the intensity of them games to then get to the end of the season, pick up an injury because how much you've played?
Yeah. If
you're not going to rotate him, then you're going to end up in the same position, surely. Maybe,
yeah.
So if you're rotating a team, you got to make sure you're rotating it. We do have Tunnicliffe somewhere. I think he's there. I mean, I've seen his name, but again, he's not playing. We've bought a League Two.
Again, is he getting over an injury? Is he just not conditioned properly still?
He did get injured last season. And I know his sort of, like we said, his conditioning wasn't quite where it should be. But again, he's just not, he wasn't even in the matchday squad yesterday. I just find it a little bit bizarre, but yeah, it's one of them. Now, let's move on. Let's get away from Chesterfield.
What's the saying you said? Wipe your mouth and get on with it?
Wipe your mouth and move on. That's a saying. Stop pretending like it's not. It is a saying.
It might be in your will.
It is a saying. It is. I'm sure it is. So, Saturday, which was a little bit better. So, rotation again.
Yep.
So, we had Young, Davis, Mendy and Ford all come back in. Now, this is where the rotation thing is the question, isn't it? So, all of them sort of were rested to an extent.
Yep.
And then we put in a performance on Saturday.
Oh my God, yesterday was just immense.
They were really good, weren't they?
Do you know what? I instantly made a note in my phone for obviously the podcast and everything. Instantly, as soon as the first whistle went, as soon as they came out, they were on that ball and you could tell.
Yeah.
I said this to your dad. I said you could tell that they wanted it yesterday. They wanted it so badly.
Yeah.
And the throw-ins and the corners were just taken so quickly. No time wasting. It was just so.
Is that because we rotated midweek though?
I don't know. I don't care.
It was. I think I was nervous before the game.
Yeah.
I was, because of how Tuesday played out. And again, it's the poor nature of the performance. I was nervous.
Yeah.
Maidstone, they were champions last year, which we'd mentioned. They'd just come up. And I was like, are they going to come here and just try and turn us over, basically?
Just annihilate us.
But to be fair to Maidstone, I mean, Maidstone were poor. They were. Yes, we were good. Yes, we were on it, and yet we were closing down. We were keeping the ball. They were poor yesterday. But one positive, one thing I'll say about Maidstone yesterday is they came to play. They came to play. If you compare that game to the Eastleigh game, I have to take my hat off to Maidstone. I don't remember them wasting time at all. I know we scored early, so they have to get on with the game.
I think they did waste a couple of.
I'm not sure. I think they came there and go, right, we're going to go toe to toe with these, and we're going to play. Which, like I say, fair play to them. Although they weren't good enough to do that. And I think any team that come to us and go, right, we're going to play you, I think we're going to beat them.
Every team should be like that, though, surely.
Yeah, but it doesn't work like that. Look at Eastleigh. Eastleigh didn't come to play. Eastleigh came to waste as much time as they could from the get-go.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of teams will do against us. If teams do what Maidstone did and go, right, okay, let's have a game, we'll beat them.
Yeah.
That's why teams do what Eastleigh did, because they know they can't go toe-to-toe with us. So they have to disrupt us and do it different. So I think hats off to Maidstone for coming in and having a go. I mean, if that's what you want to call it. But they just didn't have the quality there,
did they? Score a goal yesterday. It was just in the wrong end.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. So Mullin, great hat-trick.
First hat-trick.
First, I didn't believe that. I had to go back over the stats. I thought that, no, he's definitely scored a hat-trick for us. But he hasn't.
I always wonder, what is the bit... And I listened to the Paul Mullin interview yesterday.
Yeah.
And he was like, made up with the hat-trick. And he even said himself, because I've never really understood what the big deal is about a hat-trick. Just 3 goals. I know it's a big deal. No, I know it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But when you've got 5 goals, why is just 3 goals, by one player a big deal? But even Paul Mullin said yesterday in his interview that he doesn't really understand what the big deal of a hat-trick is. But when you get it, it is a big deal. It is a big deal.
It is definitely a big deal. One thing you just touched on there, this is if for anybody at Wrexham Football Club who is listening to this, please, when you are interviewing players with your nice little backdrop behind you, can you please do the players the decency of not letting other people walk in and out of that squeaky bloody door?
That was so annoying.
Mullin's interview that went on YouTube yesterday was 3 minutes long. 3 minutes long. That door must have opened and closed 3 or 4 times. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous for such a short. If you're going to interview a player, give them the respect of actually sitting in front of them, asking them questions, and stop people walking in and out of the room. Infuriated me yesterday, but we'll move on.
To be fair, Mullin,
they all keep going, but it's so annoying.
To be fair, there were some questions that the interviewer asked and some answers that Paul Mullin answered, and I couldn't really understand what he was answering to because of the squeakiness of the door. So it's ridiculous. I noticed that yesterday as well.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. But anyway, move on.
So, man of the match yesterday?
Luke Young.
Now, we disagreed on man of the match. I got slated a little bit because I felt yesterday they gave man of the match before Mullin scored his hat-trick. If they give it a couple of minutes later, they'd give it to Mullin. So a player scores a hat-trick, you're going to give him man of the match. I was a bit surprised he didn't get it anyway, by the by. But he wasn't my pick. So you said Luke Young man of the match yesterday.
He'll be my man of the match every single game that he plays.
I know. Well, he wasn't at Chesterfield, was he?
Well, no, that's true.
But for me, Aaron Hayden was amazing yesterday. Everything he did was spot on. Driving forward, all his tackles, everything he did was brilliant yesterday. And yes, I admit Luke Young had a good game, but for me, Aaron Hayden was man of the match yesterday.
I think there's always going to be people disagreeing with the man of the match, isn't it? It's just,
Yeah, definitely. I think
I definitely don't disagree with it, but that's just me.
No, that's fine. But I think all in all, yesterday it was a good day.
Amazing.
We scored 5. I just think we can't get too carried away.
No,
don't get too carried away. I mean, they were poor opposition. I think if a Notts County or a Chesterfield had come to the Racecourse yesterday, we're not putting 5 past them. Although with a performance like that and the intensity, I think we'd have still beat them. But let's not go crazy just at this moment.
I'm not going to promise anything, but I probably will go a bit mental at the next game. Next home game.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I'll.
That's just my nature.
Okay, so we're in a good position anyway in the league. I think that when we looked, I mean, it fluctuated a little bit yesterday because of the late game.
Yep.
We're 5th at the moment.
We are.
So our record last season, after 3 games, we had 1-1, drawn 1, lost 1. This season, 1-1, drawn 1, lost 1. It was, it's exactly the same. Our 4th game last season, we drew. And our 4th game this season, we've won. So we're in a better position this season than we were last season. I do still understand a few people's gripes about performance, stuff like that. The performance was there yesterday.
Absolutely, 100%.
Now, one question I had written, because obviously I do make little notes and stuff, and it is prepared this.
Me too.
So one note I'd made after the Chesterfield game, but before the Maidstone game, was: do you think Phil Parkinson's still the right person for the job?
If I'm honest,
yes.
I don't think I understand enough about him.
Yeah.
To obviously, I listen to what on
opinions,
people's opinions and comments and things on Facebook and what have you. But I don't think I understand fully why when the boys give a performance like they did yesterday.
Yeah.
I feel like yes, it has to come from the boys and they have to want it.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's being managed as well. So can
I be honest, right? When a team put in a poor performance, it always goes back to the manager. It's how the manager set them up. When the team put in a good performance,
it's the team.
Generally it's the team, and that's quite unfair. But it's just the nature of the job. The manager doesn't necessarily get as much praise for good performances as he does negativity for poor performances. I
think that's like that in every workplace, isn't it?
I'm still on the fence. I'm still on the fence with Parky, to be honest. We've spoke about it before. I think the stubbornness, unwillingness to change, and when you do make changes, it's not changing your formation or your tactics. It's generally person for person.
Yeah. But can I just, sorry to interrupt, but you've got to give him his dues. Last season, he did take us. Granted, we didn't win, but
we were expected to. So I think that's an important point to.
Were we expected to because of who our owners were?
Yes, and the money we'd spent. It was more that forget who the owners are. Mm. We've got owners with money, right? Yep. We spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
We're expected to go up. Anything less than first is a failure.
Yeah, but don't you think it?
No. Whatever you're going to say, no, I don't. When you spend that much money, you've got one goal.
I just think it takes time for team members to.
I agree with that.
Gel, and
he's had 13 months to put that team together. He's added some additions. Mm-hmm. That's fine, but generally that team is the same team that played last year. So anything less than first place this season is an absolute failure. Absolute failure. Even second, losing by a point is a failure.
So shouldn't they kind of say, right, okay, see, the way I would see it is let him do it for another season, and if he doesn't take us up...
So you'd give him a whole season?
Why not?
Okay, let's throw something in there. It's Christmas, yeah? We're 12 points behind first place, but we're in the playoff places. Do you still give him until the end of the season?
Okay, fair enough. But if they're going to change him, they need to do it now rather than wait until after Christmas or before Christmas or whatever. They need to do it earlier on rather than later.
Yeah, exactly.
In my opinion.
Exactly. But there was a rumour flying about yesterday that we heard.
Did you start this rumour?
No, I didn't start the rumour. There was a rumour flying about from a few people close within the club that said yesterday was his last chance. Is sort of like, if there was no performance yesterday, I don't know what that is, but the chop hammer was coming.
Do you reckon that's why Ryan and Rob were there to give him the elbow?
Well, we wondered that, didn't we? But it's probably the documentary, which we'll talk about in a bit. There's probably more of a reason.
Season 2 documentary?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's happening anyway. So,
oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go then.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think you've got to give him a little bit of time, but equally,
how long do you give him?
Not too much time. I think if we, I'd like to be top by 10 points at Christmas. I've said this before. And anything, if we are top, but it's close, I think we should be walking this league. Not walking it. I'm not naive enough to think it's not going to be hard, but we should be pushing, cream rises to the top and all that guff, whatever that is. Anyway. So people who got in touch this week. So we had Cliff Russo. I'm assuming that's how you say your name. Apologies if it is not. So Cliff is listening in the States.
He is.
And he suggested, we talked about Portland, Oregon, didn't we? Because we got quite a few listeners in Portland, Oregon. And he said, if we ever go to Portland, we should go to a Timbers game.
I'm assuming that's American football.
No, Timbers. I think it's the basketball.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe we should have Googled that before we started talking about it. But
Sorry, Cliff. So
I'm assuming Cliff is in Portland, Oregon. He didn't actually say, but hello, Cliff, and thank you for tuning in, one of our American listeners. We had Robert Hughes. So Rob got in touch to say he was really impressed with the podcast.
Yep.
And he was going to listen to episode 3 in his van.
Which was nice.
Which is nice. Now, slight admission, I know Rob, but Rob hasn't got in touch. He messaged me personally, Rob did, to say that he was very impressed with the podcast and he liked it, and he was, he listened to episodes 1, 2, and 3. But just in case anyone thinks this is a fix, I do know Rob. So
I don't know Rob.
You don't know Rob? No, you've never met Rob, but I do. So,
I wondered why you'd call him. You said, "Oh, Robert," and then you went, "Oh, Rob."
Yeah, I always knew him as Rob. So his Facebook is Robert. So hello, anyway.
Hi, Rob.
And Nigel. Now, there's a reason I put Nigel last, because it leads on to something. So Nigel got in touch to say it was great content, and he's suggested a few things for us to discuss.
He has been, we've had a few messages off Nigel, and to be fair, he's been really
great, Nigel.
Yeah.
He is absolutely great, and thank you very much for continually
taking the time to put together a message, and we really do appreciate it.
Now he suggested a few things to discuss.
Yep.
Now we've taken one of them things because it was something that we had discussed previously. Nigel brought it up, so we thought, yes, we will discuss that.
Yeah.
So that's food and drink at the racecourse. Now, we put a message out on Instagram and Facebook, didn't we, this week, asking for people's opinions. My God, did we get people's opinions? We got a lot of messages. We'll run through them in a minute. But there's a lot. So, we'll come to that in a second. So, food and drink, to get our opinions first. What do you think about the sort of price point of the food?
For what I have, I usually have chips and gravy.
Yeah.
Especially when my brother comes. Yeah. Chips and gravy are our thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad, to be honest. Yesterday was a bit of a disappointment.
One thing I'll notice, to jump in on your chips, because I just tend to have a pint, but your chips seems to have shrunk. When we started going at last season they were big portions, weren't they?
Yeah.
And then they went a little bit smaller. And this season, the price is exactly the same, but the portion size has shrunk massively.
It's definitely hit and miss. Definitely. I mean, when we went to the home game for yesterday, there did seem to be quite a few in there.
Yeah.
But then yesterday
they're always different chips as well.
Always different chips.
They're never like a set chip.
No.
It's like whatever is on offer in the supermarket, they grab loads of they don't, obviously, but they're never the same chips, are they? Sometimes they're thick chips, sometimes they're fries, sometimes it's like it always confuses me that. But so price
to me, a chip's a chip.
Price, okay.
The one thing that I obviously yesterday we bought some wine gums because Alfie, our 10-year-old, was just blagging for some wine gums.
Yeah.
I thought they were quite expensive.
They're £2.50.
£2.50 for a bag of wine gums, but
it's a pound bag of sweets, isn't it? For £2.50. So it is a little bit much. The chips are £2.20, which is all right. I mean, I think somebody did message and said we should have chips for £1. Yeah, maybe.
That was quite a popular opinion. That one.
It was.
Chips for £1.
Few people mentioned chips for £1, but I think the portion sizes, you're sort of going, yeah, sort of got a point there.
Yeah,
maybe. But I mean, the price for me, as I say, I don't tend to get food, but the beer. So I'll have a beer or two. But like I've started drinking the Madri. So the Madri is £4.40 a pint.
Okay.
Now, we don't really go out that much, do we? It's £4.40 we both got good jobs, we've got a bit of money in the bank, not loads, but £4.40 for a couple per pint when I'm not drinking that many, it's not really ridiculous to me. I get that if someone's going to be drinking 5 or 6 pints, then £4.40 is a bit much. I'll be completely honest, I don't know how much a pint in the pub is these days. I can't remember the last time I bought a pint.
I've never bought a pint.
No, but do you know what I mean? But yeah, all right, it's a bit much, but I don't.
Is it though?
I don't really see. I love.
We are going through a cost of living crisis.
Yeah.
So things are going up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, for me, it's not a big. I don't see it as a big issue. I can see why it would be an issue though, especially you've got cheaper beer, and I know round the stands they don't all have the same beer either, but quality of beer and stuff. So quality of food. What do you think?
It's always hot. I don't think I've ever had cold chips or cold gravy.
Yeah. Because they're still cooking them when you're waiting. That's why.
To be fair, they have. I mean, obviously, this is like the next point, but to be fair, they have got better in regards to the speed.
Yeah.
But the quality for me, because I do have I just do have the chips.
Yes.
It's okay.
They're
chips at the end of the day. I mean, you can't really go wrong with chips unless you give them frozen.
Yeah, so I should just touch on there. It's wait times is a big issue for people. Now, it's different for us, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, we've never really endured the queues because
we go at 1:30.
We do.
We go to the ground at 1:30. We're there when the doors open. We go in, we get food, and like me, my dad, and your brother will have a pint. And then we'll do that. There's no queues at all.
No.
And then we finish our pint, and then we might go and get another pint. And then by then, there's not too many queues either. Half time, we don't bother getting anything, and this is where the queues are a problem because we come down, and as we come down from our seat, we can see the queue. And the queue's right down there. But we're not even close to where the food is. The queues are massive.
Yeah.
And I think this is where it's a problem. When we go early, you get people drip fed into the ground, don't you? Bit by bit, some people turn up like us at 1:30. Some people come at 1:45, some at 2, some at 1:15. So the queues are never that bad before the game. Half time, it's not drip fed. Everyone's out. Everyone wants to go to a kiosk.
You've got literally 15 minutes, haven't you?
And it's just crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And I think it's terrible.
Yeah.
I think it is so poor that you have to queue up for that long to get food. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that a little bit more because we'll go through what people have sent in just to get other people's opinions. Now, we've tried to get everyone in this to read out. Apologies if we've missed anybody. Also, we've had to edit down a few people's answers, so they're not the full answers that they've given. Some people wrote a lot, so we had to edit it down a little bit just to get a feel for what everyone thinks. So Jack Meredith's been in touch. Mm-hmm. He said the food's decent.
Yep.
Wait times are ridiculous. He went down at 30 minutes. Didn't get back till the 50th minute, and that's in the tech end.
Not good, that.
Not great, no.
Christian McHale's been in touch. Food is appalling. Running theme.
Yeah.
Lack of choice, and it looks like if he had a choice, this would be his list. Philly cheesesteaks, gourmet burgers, dirty fries, halloumi fries. He also mentioned that waiting times are ridiculous.
Yeah.
and he doesn't even bother anymore.
See, now, with gourmet burgers, we went to the Etihad, didn't we, a couple of months ago?
Little disclaimer, we didn't go to watch Man City, we went to watch Liam Gallagher.
Yeah, we went to a Liam Gallagher gig. They did gourmet burgers at the Etihad, didn't they? And it was a burger and chips for £7. Now, this burger was like restaurant quality.
It was immense.
It was, you know, it was amazing. And that was £7. Just to put it in perspective, a pie and chips at Wrexham is £5.50.
Right, yeah, about that, yeah.
About £5.50. So, you know, for £7, you're getting a gourmet restaurant quality burger and chips. It's, you know, it's a massive gulf there, isn't there? Mike Davis has said, haven't bothered for ages, too expensive, queues are too long, food could be better like when we had Village Bakery pies. Now, I know the pies weren't Village Bakery for a while, but your brother had one yesterday and it was a Village Bakery pie.
Did he say, was it good?
He didn't, but I'm just making the point about the Village Bakery. That, you know, I think we moved away from Village Bakery for a bit. I don't know what they were, but the pie he had yesterday was definitely Village Bakery.
Gary Jones, he said food is awful again. Poor choice and it's never very warm. Personally, in the Mould Road stand, I've never had any issues with that.
No.
Lots of staff just standing around, and he said he'd rather go to the pub beforehand.
Now, there's a lot of people that say this. The amount of business they must be losing because people are going, I can't be bothered with this. I'm just going to go to the pub.
Or have something at home or something.
Yeah. And I think there's a massive missed opportunity with some of the food that we've got.
Absolutely, yeah.
Steve Hurd, poor quality, main issue is the speed of service. I think we're getting a recurring theme, aren't we, with the speed of service?
Absolutely. Andrew Morgan, he's saying that they should make a one-off Wrexham pie. He's been a chef for 36 years. Problem is, he can't help out because he's a season ticket holder. So, you know,
he said he makes a wicked Balti pie.
He did, so not a massive fan of Balti, but
that sounds good. That
could batch make them.
Could do, yeah, batch make them, Andrew.
Yeah, what do you think, Rob?
Marshall, I'm not sure, sorry. He makes an amazing point, a really good point. He's in the tech end, and what he said, you know that little alleyway outside?
Yeah.
If they could gate off either end, little canopy over the top.
They've already got the gates, haven't they?
Yeah, and then what you could do is put like vendors outside, like 4 or 5 sort of like little vans or something like that, and then that helps with choice. It should help with wait times as well, because you go, as well as the people inside. So you go inside because you want a hot dog or something, and you go, I'm not waiting in that queue. I'm going to go and have some Asian-inspired street food outside. Oh, the queue and that's a little bit big. I'll go to the Pucker Pie van. That, I think, is an amazing idea.
Yeah.
Sell a pitch. Someone comes in, could be local companies, could be nationwide companies, anything. That's a really good idea. Doesn't massively help the people in the other stands, but if you've got the space, it might be worth using it. He says other clubs use fan zones similar to that, and I think that's a really good point.
So Nigel Colton got in touch again. He's saying that the tech end service is poor, unless you're in the ground early, like we get there. So we don't really see any issues with like queues and things because we're never in them because we do get there early.
Yeah.
He's saying quality is in line with what is expected, but what should we be expecting?
Yeah, I know we're non-league and I get that, but there are some non-league clubs out there who do amazing food. So I think maybe. I don't know.
He also mentioned that price in the current climate is poor, service needs rapidly improving, and maybe something new members of the club advisory board can raise.
Definitely good point. And the last one we've got here is Nick Outerside. Hopefully I've said that right, Nick. Now I googled Nick because I'll explain why in a minute. But he said he's currently writing and editing a book called Snack of the Day, which is basically about food around football grounds.
He must have eaten a lot of food.
yeah, maybe. And I thought, this is just some guy who's writing his first book.
Yeah. Really
interesting. I googled him. He's written loads of books. He's like proper established author. So that's called Snack of the Day. So we'll check that out when it's out later in the year. The vote winner at Wrexham is the Village Bakery Chuck Steak Pie by miles, he said. Now, he was gobsmacked that they haven't adopted a local company as an official supplier. And that is a very, very valid point. We've got official partners at Wrexham for all sorts of crap. We have, though, haven't we? We've got an official partner for like our internet security and all that, our IT and all sorts of stuff. But something as important as match day food, we haven't got an official partner.
We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. There may be now something in the pipeline to get that sorted, or I think it's just a wait and see.
Yeah, maybe.
It could remain the way it is, or it could improve massively. I mean, they've already redone the
1864
suite, so they could be working their way down.
Watch this space.
Exactly, yeah.
Because we were in one of the boxes last season, weren't we? We got invited up there very kindly to go into one of the boxes. And everyone who's in the boxes sort of says that it's the similar sort of thing, that the food is distinctly average there as well. Yeah, they get a 3-course meal. And it's just, very average.
For the money that they're paying for those boxes as well.
Definitely.
Season tickets and that aren't cheap either, obviously. So, something needs to be done.
Yeah, it's not just those minions down in the ground. It's everyone. And I think it's something the club need to look at. We're not only getting left behind. We talked about the Etihad. We're not just getting left behind to Premier League clubs, which you can sort of accept to a degree. We're getting left behind from everyone else as well. There's other National League. Don't get me wrong. There's National League clubs that do pretty poor food, but there are, teams in this league who are doing really decent food that are overtaking us. And for the size of our ground and our fan base, I definitely think it's something that we need to be addressing.
Maybe it's not priority on the list at the moment.
Well, maybe it bloody needs to be.
Maybe.
Right, it's competition time. So we're giving away 2 tickets to the Gateshead game.
Yeah.
We're trying to inspire new fans into, we need to fill this cop. We want some new fans coming in.
Yep.
So we're giving away 1 adult and 1 child under 11 ticket for the game, aren't we?
Yep.
They're in the Mould Road stand, and it's really easy to enter the competition to try and win these tickets. All you need to do is get in touch with us and tell us, why do you want the tickets? So it could be numerous reasons. It could be a case of you're not a member, you can never get a ticket, but your daughter really wants to go to the game. It might be that you can't afford tickets. They're not a priority at the moment. There's a cost of living crisis. You need to put fuel in the car, food on the table. Whatever the reason, there could be loads of reasons why you want these tickets. Just get in touch and let us know why you want them. We'll pick the best one.
Yep. And
we'll send the tickets out by post to you, and they'll get there before the game. Another sort of small point to make on that is we will always ask your permission before we print or before we mention the reason that you gave for winning the tickets. If it is that you can't afford tickets, maybe you don't want people to know that is the reason that you gave.
Yeah.
We will always ask your permission before. We won't just say what your reason was. So please get in touch. Tell us why you want the tickets. There's 2 tickets here waiting. As I said, they're 1 adult and 1 under 11. So we've got Woking next Saturday. So we're away to them. What can you tell us about them?
Well, they lost yesterday against Barnet.
They're flying Barnet at the moment. They were awful last season. They think they've won 3, drawn 1, unbeaten.
You did make the comment the other week, though, or not the other week, sorry, the beginning of the week when we played Chesterfield, that all the teams that were playing diabolical last season are like
fed up now.
And they're trying to be like,
yeah. Well, Wealdstone,
we're going in.
Yeah, we're going in.
We're going in.
Well, Wealdstone are 3rd, Barnet are top. I mean, it's a weird table at the moment. I'm sure it'll balance itself out, but
hopefully it will.
Good luck to Barnet. So, who was Woking's top scorer last season?
There was actually 3. All scored 13 goals each.
Yeah.
We had Effiong.
Inni Effiong.
Yeah. We had Campbell.
Yeah.
And another name that I can't pronounce, Kretschmar. Yeah, they all scored 13.
Saying that like I know. I haven't got a clue. I've never heard of it until you just said it.
They all scored 13 goals each. They finished last season 10th.
Okay.
They're currently 11th.
So they're middle of the road. They're a decent team, Woking, though. And they're quite hard to beat at home. Now, I think that's quite indicative of how they play, that they've got 3 top scorers as well.
Yeah.
Because they get goals from all over the pitch, Woking. So it's normally, like we talked about Shamanga, didn't we? Who
didn't
play. Well, no, we were really worried about Shamanga, who's on the bench. No, but I think for Woking, instead of there being necessarily a focal point, they do get goals from all over the pitch. And they're very much a team unit, Woking. It's a difficult place to go, Woking. So what's your prediction?
I predict 2-1 to Wrexham.
Okay.
And as long, there is a caveat to that, as long as Parky plays the same team that he played yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's going to be key. And I'm not. Do you think he'll do that though?
I bloody hope so.
I've got a feeling you might see a couple of rotations again.
As long as it's not Young and Jordan, because I think they were integral to the game yesterday.
Yeah, Jordan was good yesterday. He was definitely good yesterday. But we'll just have to wait and see. I'm going to go for 1-0. 1-0 Wrexham I'm going to go for.
Okie doke.
But I don't know. I just feel a bit nervous all the time now.
Every game is a bit like...
After yesterday, I don't want yesterday to be a false dawn in the sense of going, right, it's okay, we're all right now. Because they were poor, Maidstone, like I said. And I don't want it to... And everyone sort of feels uplifted now. Like, yes, we've still got it. It's there. Let's kick on. And then you don't want to go dropping points just after a good result like that.
But we knew that they had it when they played Chesterfield, but it was just...
Yeah,
they just had the wrong players playing.
Yeah, maybe.
Tuesday.
We'll have to see how that goes. So, worth mentioning, this week, the documentary is out.
So excited about this.
We're really excited. We can't wait to see this. So, it's out on Thursday the 25th.
Yep.
And it's available on Disney+. Now, in America, it's available on Hulu. And it's available a day before us. So, it's available on the 24th on Hulu. You can get Hulu in this country. I'm not sure how it'll work geographically, whether because you're in the UK with Hulu, whether you'll be able to access it a day early. But you can definitely get it on Disney Plus on the 25th, which is Thursday. Really excited about that. Disney Plus.
To get a
little cameo.
Little cameo. You never know. You never know.
You don't know.
You never know.
Worth mentioning about Disney Plus. They usually do a 30-day free trial, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's 14, sometimes it's 30. So if you've never signed up before, you might get a little bit of a free trial. I don't know how many episodes are in this documentary. If there's 1 a week and there's 4, maybe it's a 30-day free trial. You might be able to sneak it all in on your free trial and then cancel it. I don't know. Just check that out for yourselves.
We'll definitely be paying for it anyway.
Yeah, because we've had the free trial.
We've had the free trial, but we'd also pay for it anyway because we're really excited about seeing it.
Yeah, definitely. So it's $7.99 a month, Disney Plus. So well worth. I think everyone's excited about the documentary, aren't they? I know that
the team and their family actually got to have a preview of that.
Yes.
I think it was on Friday night. So I'm assuming maybe that's why Rob and Ryan were actually here for that premiere. I don't know.
I'm going to guess so. I think, tell you the thing I'm most excited about is seeing what it's like in the dressing room. Seeing who are the ones. Is it just Parky that's the vocal one, or is Ben Tozer quite vocal, or someone that you wouldn't expect to be quite vocal? Are they the ones sort of G'ing the team up? Or I'm just interested to see. And I'm not saying we're going to get sort of reams and reams of time in the dressing room. But
it has to be quite private, the dressing room, I think, because of obviously all the tactics and stuff that...
There's definitely bits in the dressing room now.
There is, but I think they need to kind of be tactful in what they're saying, because obviously, you don't want people knowing your full... I mean, Parky's...
Everyone knows our tactics.
I was going to say, Parky's pretty predictable, but anyway.
So, quick mention for Dragon Chat. I mention this every week. It's a men's mental health peer support group. So it's on at 7 o'clock on a Thursday. It's a Zoom call. If you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be some information down in the description about that. I didn't go on it this week, but I went on the other week. It's brilliant. And if you're struggling, I would highly recommend it. Great bunch of people on there. You just have a chat and just talk about the football. You talk a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the football. It's amazing. So
you don't have to talk about yourself, though.
You don't have to. No.
Just sit there and listen.
Yeah, and then you can get involved with all the football chat. It's great. We want you to continue to get in touch as well. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, email us at me, the wife, and Wrexham AFC at gmail.com. It's so long. We might have to do something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, just get in touch. Don't forget the competition for the 2 tickets, 1 adult, 1 child under 11. Get in touch with us however you want to, and let us know why you want to win them tickets. Quiz time!
Yay, my favourite day of the week. Or time of the week.
Right, I've done it a bit different this week.
Okay.
So I've called this the 1, 2, 3, 4 quiz.
Okay.
There's 10 points on offer, okay? As opposed to the 5 you've been getting before.
Not been getting before, you mean?
Not been getting before, yes. So you'll understand why it's called the 1, 2, 3, 4 quiz very shortly.
Okay.
Question number 1.
Okay.
There was one player in Saturday's squad that was under 21. Who?
Max Cleworth.
Well done. That's a good start. Number 2. 2 players at the club were born outside the UK.
Okay. Tom O'Connor.
Okay.
Jacob Mendy.
Well done. Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. So that's 3 points you've got so far.
Do you know what? If I get the rest wrong, I'm quite happy with that.
This is 3 out of 10, remember. So
Yeah,
it's not out of 5.
Okay.
Question 3. There are 3 players. Can you see why it's a 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah. So there's 3 players whose surname start with H.
Okay. Aaron Hayden, aka Shiny Legs.
Yes.
Mark Howard.
Mark Howard, yes.
And Bryce Hosanna.
Done. Yes. See, this is what people want to listen to.
You're getting points. Yeah.
Question 4.
Okay.
So you're on 6 at the moment. You got 4 points left.
Okay.
4 players.
Yeah.
In the squad are 30 or over.
Okay. Ollie Palmer.
1.
Mark Howard, because we've spoken about this.
2.
I'm going to say Mullen.
Mullen. No, Mullen's 27, I think. So you've got 1 more guess. You're already on 8. So this is a fantastic improvement.
It is. Oh my God, I'm just going to have to name someone. Elliot Lee.
No, Elliot Lee's in his 20s as well. It's Ben Tozer.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And the other one, Rob Langton. He's 32.
Yeah, but as I said about Dibble last week, out of mind.
Out of sight.
Or the other way around.
Yeah.
Out of sight.
I think that deserves a high 5.
Thank you.
Well done. That was very good.
I'm quite chuffed with myself this week.
I think that was excellent. That was.
The fact that I knew their first names as well.
Yeah, I know.
That's good going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in this week. We got someone in New Zealand this week, didn't we? Yes. We didn't talk about. So hello if you're in New Zealand.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello down under.
I tell you what we should do. We should get one of them boards.
Maps.
Maps. And start putting pins in everywhere what people are listening to us.
Yes.
Oh, we wouldn't have enough pins, would we? Right. Anyway, we're just babbling now. Thank you very much. And we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.